This is The Heat Source, the podcast where we learn everything we can about hot sauce, one bottle at a time. We are your hosts, Mike and Matt, and today we're trying the original sauce from Crusher's Truck Sauce. Let's heat up! Welcome back to The Heat Source, where we learn about new sauces weekly, one bottle at a time. Today we are trying a new brand, one that was sent to us all the way from Fort Benning, Georgia. I was thrown off when I saw the return label coming from Fort Benning because I was like,
son of a gun, it's happening.
I'm like, they're bringing me back because that was where I did basic training.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, huh? And then we opened it up and it was Crusher's Truck Sauce. We have a couple sauces, but today we're trying the original, which is a, again, veteran-owned sauce brand out of Fort Benning, Georgia.
So were they, forgive my ignorance, you'll probably go into this, are they, so veterans, so no longer active, just stayed in the area? Or
so I don't know if, I
like
believe
active
he's still,
duty making it on base.
believe he's still active,
Okay.
but I don't know for sure. So this is one where it's unique, where they sent us sauce and they were, they reached out to us, and I went through like their Instagram and I went through everything, but it's really straightforward, like not a whole lot of like, it's not like he does a lot of like podcast interviews, or there's not a lot of like major articles about it. So it's a real basic history. But yeah, it's Graylin Curtis is the name of the owner of the sauce brand. But yeah, I believe, I don't know for sure if he's active or if he's retired. It's something where there's different levels of like, full-time, part-time, all the different things. But this original sauce, I've seen a few different people try the Crusher's Truck Sauce. I'm excited to get it open. I will disclaimer, originally this episode we were going to be doing remotely, so I pulled the seal off and recorded that separately. So when I pull the seal, that will be a separate recording. Yeah. Because we were going to try it remotely instead of in person. So just in case someone's like, that's a weird...
Were you planning on doing this from vacation? Your vacation
No, this
spot?
was going to be before I left for vacation, but it was one where we had to do it at night instead of the morning.
Gotcha.
So that's a little fun thing to notice on this one. I'll just start using that as a generic. It was a very good one. Yeah. I'll just start using that as the generic tadpole. But before we get into that, before we get into this sauce, and before we do any of that, we have to play our game. It's been a little bit. I was off on vacation for a week, so it's been a little bit since we played the game. So we've been studying. It's been All-Star Weekend was last weekend in the NBA, so big things happening. And I'm going to say someone, you're going to tell me if it's a hot sauce maker or if it's an NBA player. And so the person that we have today is Anthony Constantino.
Oh, that's a really tall Italian for sure. Basketball player.
That's a really tall Italian, just automatically from the name?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it does sound like a good Italian basketball player name, but it's actually the founder of Mule Sauce.
Dang it.
Which is also Sticker Mule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got like 2 or 3 bottles of their stuff in my fridge right now.
I have one bottle on the shelf that I just got because we ordered stickers last year. I don't know when.
Yeah.
That I still have a handful of. But yeah, it does definitely sound like one of those like stretch for European basketball players. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
Anthony Constantino.
Maybe he's in the wrong line. Well, he's real successful with Sticker Mules.
Seems to be doing fine with that.
But that sauce, I mean, it is reminds me a lot of the Asian Zing from Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, okay.
It'd be a good wing sauce.
Yeah. I mean, I love Asian Zing. I haven't had Asian Zing since I started doing this. So I'm like, do I still love Asian Zing as much as I did before?
Yeah.
B-dubs also has kind of fallen off for me. I love wings.
We had some this weekend. It's all right.
Do you do the bone-in or boneless?
Depends. Okay. I prefer bone-in.
Yeah.
But I also am a man of convenience and speed.
Okay.
So I'm just like, well, just throw as many of these in my mouth as I can and not worry about working around the bone. But if I'm like sitting, if I go there, I'll normally get bone-in.
Okay.
If I'm at home where I'm like, well, I'm eating this to get calories.
So I will say B-dubs bone-in wings are much better in my opinion than their boneless.
Yeah. Oh, their boneless have gone downhill. Yeah.
Their boneless,
not a sponsor,
is just not a sponsor. We have a lot of not a sponsor because we talk Not like terrible, but just not highly. Where the breading is just too overwhelming on those. Where I'd like less breading. Juju Birds does a very good, thin, crisp breading on theirs, and it's big chunks of chicken. Where it's like, okay, I'm getting legitimate chicken in these. So, B-dubs, they're boneless, just not as good. Wing Doozy is a local one that I like better. Not a big fan of Wingstop, just because Wing Doozy's better to me.
I've never, also not a sponsor. This one's just kind of mean. I've never had a real good Wingstop experience.
Yeah.
Detroit Wing Company was pretty good.
Detroit Wing Company is very good. What was another? I don't know. There's a few good wing places, but it's like the old go-to of B-dubs, and Wingstop wasn't really my go-to, but it's probably most
I still
prevalent.
like B-dubs. It's probably my wife and I. We went on our first date there.
I always got their chips and queso to start a meal.
Chips and queso's good,
when I
and
sat
then
there.
I do love their potato wedges. Their loaded potato wedges, where it's just shredded cheese, something just greasy. When you want to feel bad about yourself, just get those, in a good way.
See, we could sponsor B-dubs. Hey, feeling down? Why not just take a ride down to B-dubs?
Rub it in.
It won't really make it worse, but it won't make it better. But yeah, that was the game. That was the game of Anthony Constantino.
It's called stability.
Yeah. Sometimes you just want to maintain. It's like, I don't want things to get worse, but I know it won't get better. Let's do some B-dubs.
That's funny.
All right. Well, let's crack open this sauce. Let's get trying this, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. I'm curious what you did for your fact, because for me, it was one of the more like off topic, not really off topic, but just I usually go off the ingredients. I will say I did not go off the ingredients this time.
I stayed Michael on topic. It's like, that's my new term, like California sober.
Yeah.
Where it's like you only smoke weed and drink. Like Michael on topic is like, I guess, kind of has to connect to that. Yeah.
Like there's somewhat.
Yeah. What was your genre of topic? What directions you go?
I mean, I'll just say I went into Fort Benning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I went into unsuspecting flammable hazards in the household.
Based off the picture?
Yeah, because that's the hazmat flammable warning.
That's on topic.
There's a couple that are very surprising where you're like, really, that can catch on fire? And the other ones are like, well, duh. Brought to you by Bob Vila.
Yeah.
It's on his website, yeah.
Is Bob Vila still around?
I think so. He's got a website.
I mean,
Bob Vila, so he's one of those people where, like, I don't not trust a lot of people, but if Bob Vila went around and said some things and was like, oh, you should do this, I'd probably just kind of go along with it. I just have this odd trust in Bob Vila, probably because you'd see him on, like...
He's 77 years old.
You'd see him on, like, home improvement commercials.
Yeah, I remember Bob Vila really well.
Was he on This Old House?
I don't know. But the thing with Bob Vila is I remember him really well, but also I don't remember him anytime recently in, like, the last 20 plus years.
Last time I remember him, I think, was on, like, a Gator Grip infomercial for channel locks. Like the auto-adjusting channel locks.
He had a cameo in Hot Shots Part 2 in 1993.
I have no idea.
He's written 10 books, including five book series titled Bob Vila's Guide to Historic Homes of America. Not a lot updated. There's only one update in the 2000s. He appeared on the Home Shopping Network selling a range of tools under his own name that he founded in 2016. I'm sure he's doing just fine. And he's been married for over 50 years. Good for him.
I wonder if Al Borland from Home Improvement based his character off from Bob Vila? Because they look strikingly similar.
He looks very similar. I think when I pulled up images...
Oh, there he is right there in the middle.
But that's strikingly...
He had to have. He definitely went for the Bob Vila look. God, they both got a lot of hair.
Good for them. Must be nice. Man, we really got off topic with this, but I will say, I used to think that my eyebrows were very, like, dark. Mm-hmm. But now with the mustache, I feel like, I'm like, have my eyebrows, like, faded?
Steals the show.
Is it stealing it? But it's just, no, you just had nothing else on your head to show.
This kid I played baseball with in high school, he tried growing a mustache, and it was just the most translucent blonde mustache you'd ever seen. So he would borrow his mom's mascara.
Oh, jeez.
His mustache with mascara.
I do have a comb finally.
Do you?
Little tiny mustache comb.
I've never, in 15 years of having a beard, never once touched it with a comb.
Good for you. I don't know. It's for me. It's this is our facial hair segment. For me, it's something where, because it's just a mustache and there's not a full beard, it's just more noticeable if like. And also, I haven't yet figured out the lines where there's like little stray hairs going all over. But all right, this smells really good.
This segment's turned into 5 minutes of us trying to balance.
I know
A muffin top dribble on a
So before
spoon.
the Bob Vila talk, we poured the sauce, and now it's just sitting there on the spoon. And it's not a super watery sauce, but it is.
It's on the thinner side.
It is on the thinner side. So balancing on the spoon is a bit of a treacherous spot. But let's give this a try. Okay.
Oysters.
Yeah.
Yeah, very classic hot
Good
sauce.
seafood.
Yeah.
Oh. Real close
Grilled
to spilling
cheese,
on this one.
mac and cheese. Anything with cheese.
It's got a good salt quality to it. It's got a decent heat, but it's just serrano and habanero and bell pepper.
That's
those
good.
are really the only three
Yeah.
main parts of it.
That's just a good,
Very classic.
mellow sauce, yeah.
It has a little bit in the ingredients. It has lime juice. It has cider vinegar and some garlic. It's a very straightforward
Like
sauce.
the garlic.
It's a very classic red. I was just talking on a previous episode how I'm kind of missing those classic red sauces. We have some episodes coming up that'll be featuring some classic red sauces. This is another one. You know, it being an original, that makes sense. It's just like your straightforward classic. I know when he first started, he had an original, a spicy, and a verde. If you look on his website, he also has been advertising a maple syrup that sounds very good.
Ooh, nice.
And then he's got a honey habanero. Yeah, he's just got a few sauces there, but yeah, very classic, original. You get the garlic, you get the saltiness from I think it's from the mashes, because those are what have the salt in it.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, this go good on like boudin or something,
Who?
or like a gumbo, like a
Oh, yeah,
Louisiana style dish.
Yeah, I'd say I have a chicken broccoli rice dish that I made, just a big mass bulk thing of it, because came home and realized we had like most of a whole rotisserie chicken that I had to do something with.
Mm-hmm.
So I cooked down the bones into a stock, used the stock to make the rice, threw the chicken and broccoli in there. This is just one of those classic things you would throw on top of that. So, man, that's really good. All right, I'm going to talk about, after I drop my pen, I'm going to talk about a little bit about the brand. Like I said, there's not a whole lot on this brand. You know, they do a lot of posting on social media, some very creative, like TikTok, and very creative, like food posts. They've got some amazing food posts that show some really great barbecues and different like wings and cooking options. But I'm going to get into a little bit more of Crushers. Let me see here. Yeah, look at this one.
Oh, the ribs.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He had that with the maple syrup too. But yeah, just really good food posts, really good just posts in general.
Right.
All right, so
hold on, that would go good as like a finishing glaze, smoking.
that'd be really good.
Dang, that looks good.
Yeah.
What is that? Are those ribs?
That is maple peppercorn bacon.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like I said, he does good food posts. So the social medias, just so I don't forget later, Crusher Truck Sauce is the handle for both Facebook and Instagram. Crusherstruckstop.com is the website. But again, so this is, the owner is Graylin Curtis, owner of the sauce. When I saw posts of him on TikTok, he says, "Hey, Crusher here." So I'm assuming Crusher is his nickname. Maybe it's a military nickname. Not sure completely.
I feel like military nicknames normally aren't that cool. Normally it's like you find a flaw in someone and you never let them forget it.
So I will just, from my personal experience, so everyone calls everyone by their last name because that's what's on their uniform. I was called Freddie because Friedman, they said, was too long.
Yeah.
They were like, "We're going to call you Freddie." My buddy Rodriguez, his nickname became Rusty.
Yeah.
Starts with an R. There you go. What else did we have? We had a couple other ones that I won't.
The couple that I know of, I can't say on the podcast.
Yeah. We had some nicknames that weren't like their official nicknames. It was just like, I have them in my phone as that, and I'm just like, who is this? And then my favorite one is my buddy McGuire. Which he didn't. Well, his nickname's JB because his first name's Kevin, last name McGuire, and I'm like, oh, Kevin, like Kevin Bacon. It's like and McGuire. I'm like, oh, McGuire, like Jerry Maguire. So we did Jerry Bacon was his name. So we did JB.
Gosh.
Makes total sense to us.
Yeah.
Olson, we have a guy that we call Olson. His name is Nick Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
But McGuire just looked at him and was like, you look like an Olson. And then we're like, yep, that's his name now.
Huh.
So anytime in the military, we're like, yeah, I think Olson's doing that. And they're like, who? It's like, don't worry about it.
That's funny.
So Crusher is his nickname. A couple of the phrases that I see on the bottles here, trail tested, veteran approved is the common one that's on all the bottles. Keep on trucking, classic nickname. It looks like, so he said that he's been making this sauce since 2020 on some of his Instagram posts. He said, it's been going since 2020. His Instagram page started posting in July of 2021 when he started like actually bottling it up. But it is something where there was a post where he talked about, hey, because he's changed the label since the original. And he's like, hey, this is the original label back when, I would just take it out on whatever excursion or whatever and then use it on MREs or whatever the food is. Which I will say, if I had this with my MRE,
yeah.
I'd feel a lot happier when I was doing like my FTX and like field training exercise and stuff.
Yeah.
But because usually you either get the little like packet of Tabasco.
Yep.
Or if you got lucky, you got the Texas Pete, like a little teeny vial of Texas Pete.
I've seen the Tabasco. I've never seen the Texas Pete.
Yeah, it's more rare. There was only one MRE that I just couldn't eat. It had like feta. It was like a feta thing, and it tasted like barf. Everything else I would eat.
Yeah.
Everything else I was fine with. Only one time did I find like a piece. Have you ever had an MRE? Have you ever?
I've had some. Yeah.
Have you ever tried the bread?
Yeah.
Where it's like the thickest, driest cracker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
and it usually comes with like the cheese sauce.
Cheese sauce, or you get like the chocolate or like the chocolate spread.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
the cheese sauce on that cracker. I kind of
jalapeno
like
cheese sauce. There's a jalapeno cheese sauce.
But I also
really
didn't eat them every day. I have a buddy that ate them like 3 times a day for almost a year, and he's like, nope, I'm good. We ate them. I mean, so I went for basic. I went to Fort Benning, then we went to Fort Lost in the Woods, Fort Leonard Wood. And when we finally got a little bit of freedom to have our weekends to go do stuff, one of my buddies were like, oh, let's just pick up some food, and went to like one shop, and he's like, oh, they have MREs here. And I'm like, we're not buying MREs on our day off. Like, there is a food court that we can get chicken wings. That's so funny.
Like, that's not happening. But so he started posting in July of 2021. Again, the first 3 flavors that I saw in 2021, original, spicy, and verde. But then he's modified and changed the lineup with the maple syrup. Definitely looks intriguing to me. I've only had one other maple syrup since the podcast started, and that was the blueberry spicy shark. I got it at the Boston show. We didn't try it, but my dad got that one and just used it up. It wasn't super spicy. It was just really, really good.
Yeah. I've had doctored up honeys. I've never had a doctored up.
Mike's Hot Honey is one that I have, and then my daughter gave me a pack that had the tiniest, cutest little jar of Mike's Hot Honey.
Oh, like a mini jug?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So they started at that point. In August of 2022, they posted about how they were in Piggly Wiggly's and Fortune Food Kitchens, so some local stores in Georgia, in Columbus, Georgia, that started carrying it. He did make a post about how Fat Boy's Farmers Market is what he's used for his produce from the beginning. So I wanted to make sure to mention that market. And then, yeah, I mean, other than that, it's just been, he reached out to us to try the sauce. I saw Habanero Bros did a series of posts about their sauce. And it's just a very basic, not a lot of, sometimes I like to see the personality of the maker on a lot of the posts, but it's not necessary. If someone's just like, if there's people that I know that are like, I just want to do the thing and I'll be in the background. I don't know if you can relate to that, but what a
weirdo.
So it is something where there's not a whole lot of information other than just the sauce, veteran owned, It's been around for, now for 4 years since he started making it. 3 years since I see like active on social media. And yeah, I gotta have another spoonful of this. This was really good. I'm surprised with the Serrano and habanero mashes that it's not a little hotter, but that's okay. Oh, I spilled.
I wonder if, because I don't know a whole lot about mashes, but I wonder if that kind of mellows out if you're just letting it sit and
It could be.
age a little bit in that salt.
Yeah, well, this is definitely one of the in the oyster category. If we do one at the market. Oh man. Well, I'll let you do your fact while I do a little scoring here.
All right. So my fact, I actually have 18 facts here.
Oh my gosh. Is that more or less than the pickle facts from last week?
I'm going to cruise through. Some of these are surprising. Some of these aren't. But if you have any that are intriguing to you, let me know. So these are what I did. I saw the red label, the flammable hazard label on the bottle, and I just thought, what are some unsuspecting things in the household that are flammable that not many people would know about?
Yeah.
Number one, coffee creamer.
Coffee creamer?
Yeah.
Like the dry creamer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I knew about that one because of Mythbusters, but if you go toss that stuff next to an open flame, it just woof, goes up like crazy. And I think it's just because it's such a fine powder, but it has like the chain effect.
Sure.
Chain reaction. Number two, oranges.
I do know that one because I've seen the candle. There's the candle thing.
So I didn't know about that. That one was surprising to me.
They pull the peel of the orange, and it has the little stick, and then they just light it, and it just basically burns like a candle.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I didn't know that. Flour, kind of the same thing as the coffee creamer. Powdered sugar and spices, same as the coffee creamer.
Wasn't flour? I thought flour was something that you're supposed to throw at a grease fire. Is that just more to
No,
soak
that's
up
baking soda.
the baking soda? Well, good thing I haven't had a grease fire.
Yeah, I think. Hold on, we shouldn't give. So these are things that do catch fire that we're giving advice on, not on how to put them out. So don't take advice.
Yeah,
from us.
don't listen to me.
I heard you should throw gasoline on fires.
Yeah, but I heard if you take Bacardi 151 in your mouth and spit it at a fire, it'll put it out.
Full disclaimer: don't do that. What do you got?
It says never use flour or water to extinguish a cooking fire. Flour is combustible, and water can spread the fire. So yeah, cool.
So, yeah, half the time I guess do the opposite of what we say.
Yeah, that's just goes to show you. Unless we're stating something that's actually fact somewhere else that we're citing, don't listen to us.
So for snacks, like the oil that they're cooked in, like you ever lit a Frito on fire? Burns forever.
I've heard about it. I've never done it myself.
Yeah, Fritos are excellent fire starters. Mothballs. That one was surprising to me more so in the fact that I don't know of anyone that's under 75 that uses mothballs. I just feel like it's an old person thing.
Is it still something you can get?
I don't know, actually.
That's a good question. But yeah, okay.
Number 7, hand sanitizer. That's just straight alcohol. Aerosols. Used to light those up all the time as a kid. Dryer lint. That one's not too surprising. Shoe polish. Another mostly old person item, but kind of surprising. Plastic containers. Petroleum product.
Okay.
Nail polish remover. That one makes sense.
That one smells like it would burn real good.
This one was probably the most surprising to me. Ping pong balls. So it says ping pong balls, which are made out of celluloid, are highly flammable if exposed to high heat. Older ping pong balls used to be made of acidified celluloid, an ingredient that becomes unstable over time. This is why some older ping pong balls might explode mid-game.
Well, now I'm interested in ping pong.
We need to do a
even
segment.
more.
We need to find the oldest ping pong balls we can.
Just hit it.
And just hit them until they explode.
It's like how many licks to the center of a Tootsie Pop, but how many strikes until the
How many pings until it
explosion of a
pongs,
ping
yeah.
pong ball. I'd be down for that.
Mattresses, as of 2007, mattresses are now required to be made with a, let's see what it was. They now have to contain a flame retardant. So you have to, a mattress has to withstand 30 minutes of an open flame before igniting.
Okay.
So now you're just sleeping on chemicals.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Everything's chemicals.
that's a weird one.
The
one makes me uncomfortable.
The one before that, the said the ping pong ball. That one, the only thing that I'm thrown off by is normally like if you get a dent in a ping pong ball, my thing was always you take a lighter and you light it and then it heats it and then pops it back out.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
But now I'm like, were we just seconds away from...
Yeah, a stick of dynamite in your hand.
Yeah.
15 contact cement, 16 turpentine, and 17, your dad needs to be aware of this one, upholstered furniture.
Oh, I'm sure he's aware.
Number 18, this one. I feel like most people know this one. If you've watched any serial killer documentary, you probably know about this one. Fertilizer is extremely explosive and flammable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the list. Some of them are obvious. Some of them are unsuspecting. Be careful playing ping pong out there. Your house might catch on fire.
Just don't play with fire.
Yeah.
And obviously don't throw flour or water to put out a cooking fire.
Balls.
Or ping pong balls. Yeah. I have a bucket of ping pong balls. Throw them at it. I know that the algorithm on one of the social medias has been advertising there's that fireproof blanket that it's like, to put out a grease fire, have this in your kitchen and then just drape it over and it puts out the fire. And it's one of those things where even though I've never had a grease fire in my kitchen and I do a lot of cooking, it's something where they advertise it in a way that they're like, grease fires happen every day. It could happen to you tomorrow. It could happen to you today. I'm just like, okay, I got to watch out for grease fires now.
So that new house we moved into, they have, we've got a gas stove now. We always had electric before. My wife grew up with electric. I grew up with gas.
I love gas.
Not bad, not a big deal. Very small, but we've had 2 fires so far. Just because one of them was parchment paper.
Okay.
It was so it's also a double oven. So it has a real narrow top one, which we use most of the time. So we're just heating less space.
So the parchment caught on fire?
Parchment paper went up, yeah.
The thing I miss, because we had gas at my last 2 houses. And the thing that I miss most is grabbing a tortilla and throwing it on the flame.
Yeah.
Or grabbing like poblano peppers or whatever, and then instead of throwing it in the oven and roasting it, just charring it on there. I do miss that quite a bit, but it's also not enough to be like, we need to completely redo the configuration of the kitchen just so I can do that. Yeah. We have the glass top. I hate the glass top.
I hate the glass top, but I'm always tempted to just crack an egg directly on it and just see what happens.
Oh, so I, at someone else's house, thought, hey, this is glass top. It just heats up. Let me just throw a tortilla on there real quick, warm it up.
Yeah.
It melted to the glass so quickly that the scrubbing it out took a long time. So I would not recommend, this is my safety thing, I would not recommend throwing anything directly on the glass top that you don't want to have to like spend hours.
I was going to hit it with
off.
some Pam first.
That'll do it. I don't know. The glass top acts weird. Like there's a little bit of water in like on the bottom of the pot when you put it down. You think it's about to like explode. It's just like making all this noise, and I don't like it. I prefer fire. Fire, even though it's not controllable completely, I know.
Yeah.
Right. Fire hits pot gets warm.
Yeah.
If there's water underneath, it's just gonna sizzle away.
I like the fact that on gas, you can turn the stove off, and it's off.
Yeah.
With electric, you turn it off, and it stays hot for much, much longer. So you'd end up like burning your food.
So this is the second week in a row that you've had a very good list for your fact, because you had the pickle facts last week of all the crazy pickle facts.
Yeah.
And then now just the list of the flammable items. Again, the times I could have, torched a ping pong table without knowing it.
I really want to try that now. There's
got
to be something
pretty sure,
on YouTube
and I don't know if it's the old or the new version though. So that's the other thing.
For ping pong balls? Mm-hmm. They said the old ones.
Well, I'm saying like the older new ones for like putting the lighter underneath to pop out a dent. But yeah, the old ones, that'll have to be a test. That'll be a live stream where it's just us back and forth like 201, 202, 203, and just having a counter. But I'll get into my facts. So the reason I went with Fort Benning for my facts, part of it was, again, I always go into the ingredients, and like with this, I could have gone into like some of the process of like pepper mashes and things like that. But because the history of this sauce brand, there's not a whole lot of, information about the personal side of the sauce brand, which is completely fine. I wanted to focus on Fort Benning, which both this is where it was shipped from, but also where I did basic training at. So I'm just sharing some facts about Fort Benning, Georgia. Again, it's near Columbus, Georgia is like the main city it's closest to. But it was established in October of 1918. And if you were to guess kind of the size, either in acres or how many people are in Fort Benning, what would you guess?
Those are two very different units of measure.
Those are the two that I have, though.
I'm going to say Fort Benning, in terms of people, 27,000 people.
Okay.
And then in terms of size, I'm going to go with 16,000 acres.
Okay. So it holds at least 120,000 people.
Holy cow.
And it is 182,000 acres.
Dang.
It's
I was
huge.
Way off.
So I will say this, when I was in basic at Fort Benning, and when you're in basic, you aren't going off and doing. I would be curious to have, if I had my AIT at Benning, where you have a little more freedom on like weekends, typically. A lot of people got their weekends revoked. But to me, there was just the building I was in and the roads we ran on.
Yeah.
And that was all. Like, we'd be running, I'd be like, what's that building? It's like, look forward. Because my parents came at graduation, they came and they got a tour and they got to meet the drill sergeants. And the best thing from that was my parents went to my drill sergeant and was like, this is our son who was in your group. And he's like, I don't really recall him by name, so that's a good sign. They said, typically you don't know.
Yeah.
Like you either know the problem ones or maybe like the real high flyer. I was like right in the middle.
Yeah.
I was also the second oldest person in my basic training group, so
yeah.
And
like,
I shared a
remember
bunk with
the old guy. Oh yeah, Matthew.
Yeah, I shared a bunk with and I wasn't even the oldest though. So it's like oldest guy, like not quite. And I shared a bunk with the youngest, the kid that was like the freshest. And it was also I think it helped him. I don't know if he would think that, but it was like he would complain a lot, as teenagers do, about being told what to do when they don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just be like, just suck it up, just do this. If we get through this, we get to this event, we get to chow, we get to whatever. And but yeah, so when I saw that, I was surprised at how large it was, and I was there.
Yeah, right.
Because it's like I just was not. The only things I remember besides the building that we were in and some of the certain training facilities was when we first arrived. We arrived late. We were on a bus. It was storming, lightning storming, and you're going into this entrance that has statues of infantrymen and just lightning coming down. It's like,
sounds like the beginning of a movie.
Like, this isn't ominous.
Yeah.
This isn't ominous. But also, Fort Benning is known as home of the United States Infantry. So even though I wasn't infantry, I was a technical engineer, which was funny. Our group was all like engineers, very like nerdy computer people. And we were into the basic training that was known for infantry.
Right.
Which, I mean, I liked. I'm not a great... So I've told people when they ask me about my experience, I said, I'm a great promoter for basic training because I tell them my favorite thing was basic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I enjoyed AIT a little bit less, but it was a different enjoyment. And then my time at my guard weekends, we were brand new, so there was a lot of disorganization, and we were the first technical engineers in that group, where then they didn't know what to do with us. So we were doing a lot of just like odds and ends, helping out other people. So my most enjoyable was basic because it was like, this is what you have to do, and just do it. It's like, okay.
Right.
And I also got really good at running. First time I ever ran a sub 13.5-minute 2-mile.
That's pretty quick.
That's pretty quick.
I couldn't do that.
I can't do it now.
No.
But I'm going to try to do a triathlon this year, so we'll see how I do.
Have fun with that.
And the last note I will say about Fort Benning, if you are in the Columbus, Georgia area, whether you're going to Fort Benning or not, you should go to the National Infantry Museum and Soldier Center that's just outside.
Mm-hmm.
We did go to that. After my graduation, we went to that. That was really incredible. Really cool museum. It had these large-scale like walk-through, I don't know how you would describe it, but it's like different elements of war and battles, but it was a full-size replica. So if you're walking through a full-size diorama of a battle, there's like a helicopter hanging from the ceiling, like looks like it's flying, and it was very, very cool.
That is cool. I'll have to check that out. You said that was in Columbus, Georgia?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just outside of Fort Benning, so
that's
so
crazy.
yeah. But that is
I was so So what did you say, 100 and what thousand people?
It says it holds at least 120,000 people.
Okay. So I was talking to someone this weekend, and they were saying that their little town of Ionia, Michigan has the largest Menards in the state, which is, if you don't know what a Menards is, it's a hardware store first.
Save big money at Menards. That's
where
the
you
logo.
can sometimes get groceries, or most of the time get groceries.
Yeah, my dad one time came home with ribs. I'm like, where'd you go? He's like, Menards.
Yeah, it's so weird. You walk in there, you're like, I came for plywood, and I left with a box of Cheez-Its.
Yeah, they have the random food section.
Yeah. But anyways, Ionia is a pretty small place. Has the largest Menards in the state because when they looked at the census data, it showed 27,000 people as residents of Ionia, or over 27,000 people. So they built a giant Menards.
Mm-hmm.
The 27,000 people were inmates at Ionia State Penitentiary.
Oh, jeez.
So it's like they built a giant Menards when 3/4 of the population can't even go there.
So everyone that gets released from there gets a Menards coupon code.
Yeah, they got to make up some ground.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's your discharge papers, and there's a Menards coupon code.
I mean,
That's really funny.
if it's known as the largest Menards, it may have a little bit of pull from different other areas, but also going to Ionia, such a far.
It's out in the middle of nowhere. It's in cornfield. And then,
And I think because when you go along the highway heading east out of Grand Rapids here, when you get off at the Ionia exit, it's not that you're right in Ionia. You have to drive.
yeah, you've got to
the
drive up
ways.
that. Yep.
So that was always annoying because you'd always see the signs that say, here's like 17 fast food options if you need to stop. I'm like, oh, I'm starving.
But
And
they're
then it's
like 5-6 miles off the highway.
yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, but that's my facts for the day, the Fort Benning facts. So let's get into the score on this. So this is a very classic sauce. You get garlic, you get salt, you get the peppers blend well where it's not super hot, but you have the serrano and the habanero mashes working well. It's like seafood is one that I think of. You said mac and cheese, any type of just very traditional casserole. I mean, you could throw it on wings, you could throw it on your burger. This would be one of those good mix-ins for if you're wanting to spice up like a mayo, or
It'd be good in like soup.
it'd be a good
Tomato
soup
soup.
topper. Yeah, a good soup topper, because it's not. Sometimes you get a sauce where there's certain ingredients where you're like, well, this really kind of limits it for some of these other things. Like I love the Moroccan Madness, but it's something where it drastically changes. Like when I have pizza and I throw Moroccan Madness on there,
It's
I
now
have
a
an
Moroccan
Indian,
pizza.
I have a Moroccan pizza.
Yeah.
While this, you could throw it on any type of pizza, and it's not going to be like, well, this is completely changing it. So with our scores, obviously it's out of 100. 25 and below is not for us, maybe for you. 50 to 25 is something we don't say you have to like go out and seek out, but it's something that's okay. 50 and above, we recommend to buy. And then I had this as a 73.
Oh, it's 73.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
How many times have we done the same score? I feel like it's happened more.
I feel like it's happened
More-
a few times.
Yeah, it's always.
But
a
we're
surprise.
normally within like 3 plus or minus.
Yeah, we have very similar. The only thing I will say for our like preferences, you have said that you very much like an acidic sauce, and those because of all the different sauces, I've found myself liking the non-super acidic ones more, but I still enjoy them. That's the only thing where you've said that where I'm like, I don't know, but then I still score them similar.
Yeah.
And then for the heat, I just had this as a 2 because it does have spice to it, but it's not anything that's going to burn. It's not a lingering heat. It's just a good heat, a good burn. You're going to feel it on your tongue, but you're not going to like sweat or snot or react in any way like that.
Yep. I had the same thing.
So yeah,
That's a good one.
This is a very good one.
It's a pleasant morning.
Yeah,
It's real pleasant.
It's a good start to it. And then again, Crusher's Truck Sauce, crusherstruckstop.com, I keep messing up the verbiage. Crusher's Truck Sauce on Instagram and Facebook. The problem is when it's all in one word on Instagram, it's Crusher's Truck Sauce, but then I also see Struck, so I want to say Crusher's Struck Sauce.
Go check out their Instagram. Their food.
Yeah, check out the
It's
Instagram page.
freaking awesome.
They got some amazing food. We have some more sauce from them to try. The maple syrup is something I might have to see next, maybe Father's Day. Do that for my dad. He loves good maple syrup. And a couple special thank yous. Special thank you to Summit 6 Design for any graphic or logo design needs. Reach out to them. They designed our logo. Special thank you to John from White House Station. He heard about our red sauce, low red sauce stock, and he sent us some sauces that will be a future episode where we're going to try the full array that he had. And they're all White House Station sauces, so I don't feel as bad about ranking which ones we like best on that. At first, I was like, if we rank them and it's like different brands, I don't like doing that because like even though you're third of 3 really good sauces, it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. But also a special thank you to Lauren from Hot Graham Sauce Company. We had some posts recently where he had some good feedback on some brands. I did a fun little post about looking for a new hot sauce, and he recommended a brand. I talked about certain elements of sauce that I like, and he recommended Family Band for a Trinidad Scorpion sauce because we talked about how well that Trinidad Scorpion balanced in the last sauce. And then also, this isn't a special thank you, but a more of a shout out to Grumpy Sauce LLC. So that is the combination of Bobby from Mighty Mustache and Araya from Chilipino have started their own brand of hot sauce. And they had their first sauce, the Blazin' Asian Hot Sauce, which I'd be curious if that's the new Asian Zing replacement for wings. But here's the thing. They came out with it while I was on vacation. Sold out in 12 hours.
What?
Completely sold out.
Huh.
They then restocked on the 17th, and they sold out again. I don't know how quickly that was, but I saw a post yesterday that they sold out again. Here's my dilemma. The first one I was on vacation, I was not able to buy it. And then I was like, I'm going to get you the second round, thinking next week when I'm back from vacation, get settled in.
Yeah.
Sold out again. So now I will, and I don't feel bad because I know I'm going to get it, but I don't have, but I'm like, well, other people obviously wanted it. They got theirs. I can wait a little bit. But it is something where I'm like, I really need to try this sauce.
Yeah.
But really special shout out to them for just the success of their kickoff sauce and how well they're doing. And it's just a fun thing to see. And then thank you again for listening. However you listen, we do appreciate you. And follow us on Instagram at the Heat Source Podcast for all updates. Send us a message on there or email us at the heatsourcepod@gmail.com for any feedback, requests, or other comments. And then tune again next week when it'll be our last episode before the Fiery Food Show. So we'll see what we do for that one. So stay tuned.
See you.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.